Welcome to RC Racing. We're about to take our final trip to Vegas for this series, and then we're heading to Holland for large-scale off-road at the DAC 12. But first, smaller, faster and on carpet. It's the 1/12 2IC final with John Hindhoff.
Matsukara in pole position for this one, ahead of in second Lebanon. And Ronald Volker in third, not with his usual colour of body. That might catch us out later on. Volker in third with the unfamiliar green colours has gone straight on at the first corner, and he's had a disastrous start, and that's allowed Matsukara to get well away with Lebanon in second place. I think that's Kevin Ebert up from grid 4 into third. He's got a quick look of the blue car in second place. That's still Lebanon. Oh, I think he went wide there, though, and that's Ebert. Yes, gone through into second place. Matsukara then leads from Ebert in second place. There's the confirmation of that. Paul Lemieux, I think, is now up into third spot, with Lebanon down into fourth. That blue and white car. My goodness me, these guys lap very quickly indeed, don't they? And all of the skills of RC racing required in spades. The leader is pushing very hard indeed. Ebert, though, got to give it to him. He's closed down, and Matsukara is going to have a bit of a battle on his hands here. Can he battle as much as he can drive away from the field? He's got a reasonable advantage at the moment, but at the speeds that these guys are lapping, the tiniest misjudgment or error will see that small gap disappear. And where's the leader gone? He's disappeared from the front of the field. There he is, just nipping through as we're watching Lebanon. And behind Lebanon is Lemieux, so that's a change of place again. Those two battling very hard indeed. And then, now is that Vulcan? No, it's Hagberg, isn't it? Alex Hagberg in the two-tone green colours. Volker has just not been part of this battle. There he is, in fact, at the back of the field, and he's going to be the first guy to be lapped if he's not careful. Change of body, change of colour. Thought it might confuse us, but he's definitely got a bad start, and things have gone from bad to worse. That's the second place driver, that's Ebert, and that's the leader right in front of him. And if you look there, that is Volker, the man I've just been talking about, who keeps out the way, but not enough. The lead changes, but then changes back instantly between Matsukara and Ebert. Let's have another look at that. Volker does the right thing. Matsukara turns in a tad too early. Oh, I tell you what, that was a little bit ambitious from Matsukara. Has he got away with it? He was clearly upset. Just his rhythm slightly put off by having to pass Ronald Volker there, and gave up the lead for what? Not even 5 or 6 feet, as he went back up the inside of Kevin Ebert and reclaimed it, but there was some significant contact there. Blue and white machine is third place Lebanon, and he seems to be in elegant isolation at the moment. Lapped car, I believe, ahead of him. Back further down the field, there is Lebanon again, and he's looking pretty smart again, getting caught up in that little shenanigans earlier on and holding him up. Remember, he started in second position on the grid. That's our leader, Matsukara. Now, where is the second place car of Kevin Ebert? It's got a bit of green in it, you'll see it in a moment. There it is, just going through the central section. There's our leader. Oh, and the green car being picked up by the marshal there is Ronald Volker's machine, finally giving up the ghost. Ronald must have come into this hoping, well, surely thought he had a great chance qualifying in third position, but it was all over as early as the first corner. It's gone from bad to worse from him. You can't say about anything like that about our leader, who has reeled off the laps with metronomic precision and accuracy. Matsukara has put on a masterclass here today and is cruising home to victory. No one else in the picture. He has ripped this field apart with his pace and takes the victory. Fantastic drive. Well, Hagberg came through from 9th to 5th. The top three, Mike Blackstock, Kevin Hebert, and Nato Matsukara wins it. And underlining his dominance, he lapped the whole field. And he's down with Nick.
Naoto, congratulations. You led for most of the race. Was it an easy race?
Yes, easy.
Well, congratulations to Naoto. Now, to bridge the gap between tiny electric racing and large gas racing, let's take a look at large-scale electric with HPI's Super 5 SC.
Drop it! Yes.
We at RC Racing are lucky enough to travel the world looking at various classes of our sport, but it has to be said that this weekend at the DAC 12 has really opened our eyes to large-scale off-road. It's amazing that so many people have been attracted to this corner of Holland, this heartland of the large-scale world, for a freezing cold event, but an incredibly popular one. But why large-scale, and why the DAC 12?
It's the event in winter period for large-scale racing.
We don't have anything like this back in England, and once you've done it, you just want to keep going back every year.
So why do you like to race large-scale off-road?
When we drive this car, we have like the real car a little bit, you know?
Back on track though, it's all about the competition, and the DAC 12, well, it's looking tougher than ever. Semi-final one was a bit of a kind of a tame affair really. Alexander Schmidt soon hit the lead and eased himself out to a very, very comfortable victory by almost a lap on the entire field. However, semi-final B was considerably more exciting. It featured the pre-race favourite, Kai Coops, and of course the pole man, and indeed he set off into the lead no problems at all, but a mistake about halfway through dropped him down to third behind Ken Vallikers and Tim van der Elst. But that would have been good enough for the final, no problems, but suddenly Kai just ground to a halt. He had a drive shaft problem and he was out. So we were without the favourite, and starting on pole for the final would be Ken Vallikers, Alexander Schmidt would be in second, and in third it'd be Tim van der Elst.
So we're waiting for the signal. A little bit of twitching on the sticks there, but a good start from Ken Valkiers, and he heads off this field. These are big machines in this tight indoor compound. We've talked about how cold it is. Now there's the cutout. You have an option to go the long way around or the short way around. And then this infield technical section down the far side of the track, and this is all about getting that Scandinavian flick almost right. That is, I think, Nick, all about just getting the meter of the track, almost getting the rhythm right.
Oh, it's definitely a rhythm section, John. It's all about in, out, turning it through. And I think it's been interesting that you look at the jumps and that's the key bit. It's not. It's the key bit how quickly you can get down that second bit. But coming up now is this very odd and very unique optional corner. Do you go wide or do you go tight? There we go, tight and a wide there, you see. It's Alex Schmidt in third at the moment, taking the tight line. The two Elcon twins out in the lead there.
Yeah, and that's Ken Valkiers and Tim van der Elst who are leading out. Just noticed the red front wheels on Ken's buggy, whilst Tim has got the two sets of yellow wheel rims. That's how we're telling them apart, because they're in the works colours of Elcon. And nice drift now. Let's see where they go. They're both go. No, they're not. One either way. And I'm not sure there's that much difference, except maybe to be able to get the power on a tad earlier coming through the short section.
Yeah, I think the advantage of that appears to come that following corner on. I think you get a little bit better running. It's almost like getting the angle in, because with these cars, the precision is entirely in application of the throttle in many ways, and not just the steering. You're using the steering almost like a rudder, and then you power it round with the throttle itself.
Well, this arena much more used to seeing horsepower of a different kind. It's used for dressage, and again, it's a split tactic there by the two leaders. I think maybe you get hooked up a little bit earlier going through the cutout, but it is marginal, and I think it might just be preference. To me, it looks a little smoother to go the longer way around, and I think the potential for disaster perhaps is slightly less. Beautiful drift there by Ken Valkiers, who leads it. He keeps the Elcon on the ground nicely and makes sure he lands nose first. Now, is he going right round? Yes, he is, and he has to wait just a little bit earlier to get there. Oh, now he's got a big weave on there, and he's got a bit of a tank slapper, but he held it well, but he's cut down his lead.
Yeah, I mean, the grip here, people who saw a couple of months ago the European Championships outdoors in Croatia would have seen a track that looked also quite slick, but was wearing the tyres. This track produces no tyre wear at all, Ron. It's a sort of a strange sandy concept that the horses want to run on. For some reason, you get this top layer of dust, it goes hard, but there's no tyre wear at all.
It's still providing a very, very technical challenge. Now again, they're much closer this time, and Valkiers again goes Buffalo Gals round the outside. Tim van der Elst prefers that inner line, and what I have noticed, Nick, is once people tend to choose that, whichever line it is, outside or inside, they do tend to stick with it.
Yeah, I was talking beforehand, they said that might change the lead there. That's a superb run out the inside there.
Yeah, that was a nice opportunist manoeuvre there by Tim van der Elst. Now, has Valkiers got anything left for him? He's sitting there, mustn't lose his concentration. Just gets a little bit of a bounce there. Now, coming to this cutout, what will happen this time? Oh, I think that's a slight mistake there by the leader, but no. He had to go in very, very tight there so that he didn't give an opportunity. And look at this. Is that the third place buggy catching them up as well? Yes, it is. The bright yellow coming through. And while they've been scrapping between themselves, that's allowed.
Alexander Schmidt there, who we all saw again also out in Croatia. These guys almost on a world tour of large scale. It's a very popular class in the Low Countries in Germany.
And there's another pass for the lead, is it? Oh, it's tight. 1, 2 and 3 together as they come back onto the infield. Schmidt goes up into second. Valkiers goes down into third. Now both the leading pair go the short way, but it's Ken Valkiers. Oh my goodness me, Schmidt all the way over, and he's very lucky there that it lands on its wheels. The Hornman very, very robust indeed, and he continues in third position. Valkiers goes back through. Valkiers absolutely sticking with that outside line. He believes that's going to work for him. But at the moment, Tim van der Elst is leading out. Not perhaps quite as smooth here, the leader, as the... Oh, as I say that, of course, the second place man makes a slight mistake. Now, round the outside... See, I think getting into that is the problem, not getting out of it. The shortcut seems to be quicker on the way out, but it's undoubtedly slower on the way in.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that I think twice there Alexander's blown a really good chance of getting past, and he gets a bit of a red miss. But I think it's interesting because being an RC racer, I know what it's like when you see a gap, and when you see a gap with lots of grip, it's great because these guys, it's much harder to go for something because you haven't got that ability to adjust on the fly because these cars have got so much momentum and so little grip.
Now we've got back markers getting involved as well now. The leader has got past that green and yellow car. Now Ken goes to the inside for the first time to take the overtaking manoeuvre. Now that's very interesting because he was coming up on coming up on lap traffic. That was smart.
Yeah, I think these guys, it's interesting. When you see these drivers, this looks like a completely different class of RC anything we've seen, but we see them a lot more obviously running other classes, and this sort of skill, they have it in everything, like all the top drivers do, but this particular 1/6 element does seem to be really all about finesse.
Now Schmidt has dropped back from these leading two again, and it does seem to me just to... Oh, now that Ken's tried it once, he likes it. Now that's interesting, isn't it? For the whole of the first part of the race, he was round the outside advocate, and now he's taking that shortcut. Maybe he feels there is a little... Oh, look at that beautiful drift onto that infield, and to the naked eye and indeed to the timing beam now, Ken is catching Tim van der Elst. So Valkiers catching van der Elst at the lead, and the leader goes very wide again there into that infield area. I do think that Ken now has got the meter of this. Now will he go around the outside? No, he sticks with the leader this time.
Yeah, teammates, I think it'll be a clean pass. We're not going to see a push past here. I think they're going to definitely see some clean there. Both part of the Elcon team to go through the ins and outs and sweeping around beautifully.
Look at the traffic ahead of them in any form of motorsport. Once the leader starts to come upon traffic, that's danger time. No different here. And again, Valkyrs needs to be right up close there in case there is any little hesitation from the leader, who goes a little wide there for my money. He's being defensive on that left-hander at the end of the whoops. Now, which way are they going to go? They both go at the infield. Yes, they do, avoiding the spinning car on the outside, but this is as close as we've seen, and there's a car over in front of them, and they both managed to get round it. Fantastic concentration by both the Team Elcon drivers.
Because they're big things to avoid, the other cars, when they're in the way.
Well, the thing is, last-minute changes of direction, you just don't have the grip, and the leader doesn't have the grip at all there, gets a tank slapper on. That's compromised his speed down one of the fastest part of the courses, and Ken Valkyr sees his opportunity here. The leader's held up. He can do the cutback here, I'm sure. Gets the power on early. Now, which way is he going to go? He also drops onto the inside. He's now favouring that. The leader's been using that line all the time. The other thing about this, Nick, you just can't make last-minute changes, as we see in the all-wheel drive categories. Once you've committed to a line, whether or not you're on power, the weight of the buggy is going to keep you on that line.
That's right.
Oh, and there's the leader up on the two wheels, and surely now Ken must go back into the lead. He does. Now, can he hold on to it? No, he's gone wide. And you see, he got too excited there, too much.
Example, because he got the lead, but then, of course, he was going faster than normal, and the braking, because this is four-wheel disc braking, he missed it, and therefore he lost the lead again.
Just magnificent stuff. Now this is good driving, by the way, by the lapped buggy. Oh, as Ken gets a little bit sideways, and all that good work, catching up with his teammate, has dropped him back, a good 10, 12 buggies lengths there. Love this area. Now getting the braking right here and flicking it in. And it is a proper Scandinavian flick. Those of you who were out in the forests in the late 70s and early 1980s, before four-wheel drive cars and Group B became the Rally Kings, will be very, very familiar with that kind of skill. Flicking the car to the left first before you turn right, unsettling it maybe with a little bit of braking with a rear brake bias. And the red wheels of the second place car there of Ken Valkyrs, our pole sitter, he's a perfect exponent. Watch the way he comes round here, and he ducks to the inside. That was very smooth indeed. Just gets it a little bit ragged over the whoops, though.
Watching there isn't the drive on the inside of that corner,
no.
and I think that's where he had a great drive coming off this area of the track before. But whilst he can get his nose in that tight end of the hairpin, there just isn't the drive on that part of the track.
And you've got to be smooth on everything here, steering, inputs and the throttle. There's no use going on and off the throttle and blipping the throttle through, because all that's going to do is unsettle the car. 14 kilograms, there is weight transfer on these cars, and you want it to be smooth coming into the apexes, just like the apex rather, just like the two leaders have done. That is textbook stuff, and as I say that, of course, curse of the commentator, the second place driver, Ken Valkyrs, just goes a little bit wide, and now he's got it all to do again.
I mean, it is very balletic, this. I mean, we said before, but it's one of the most balletic bits of sport I've ever seen. They really are. The flow is quite remarkable. It must be just a fantastic feeling to get a lap right, because you're literally on the edge every time you apply either the steering or the throttle.
And there is our leader, Van der Elst. And Valkyrs just trying to come through. But this is just beautiful to watch. It's good stuff. It is a bit nudgy through there, and I'm surprised that Ken hasn't gone back to his wider line, but he's sticking with it. And there's going to be a lot more lappery to do here as we're into the closing stages now. And looking through, there's nobody else on these two drivers.
No, I mean, Tim's has done an excellent job here. He's really managed to avoid the dead car in the middle of the straight there, and he is stopping on the corner slightly. I think he's lost a bit of rear flow there for a while, but you can see there's just constantly people all over the track where you don't want them, and I think it is helping Ken to catch up.
Yeah, and again, almost coming to a dead stop there on the cutout coming on to this technical section, and now danger, but both of the drivers in the leading two Elcon buggies being able to negotiate that relatively well. Of course, as they come through to lap some of these buggies, Nick, they're going through the tail enders of the top 10 finalists into the midfield as the leader's made a huge mistake, and he's got caught up. He's beached the car on the inside. I think just slightly too worried about that back marker there.
Yeah, he tried to go in the inside back marker, and of course with a two-wheel drive car, it's very easy to lose all drive because one wheel cocked up, and of course he's got proper, only slightly limited slip differentials, and that's it, no drive at all, and that's a bad way to lose the lead. And there's Alex Schmidt battling for third place with, I think, the fourth place guy who is
Christian Lagasse. And they are. Oh, now he's trying to come around the outside there, but got the power on a tad too early, and actually got more grip than I think he was expecting there. Did Lagasse. So Schmidt in the yellow car. That's his standard body colour. You've seen him racing with that before if you've been with us in some of our earlier programmes. And he looks like he is settling himself down into that third position now, as Lagasse is trying to chase him down. Meantime, Ken Valkes is still out front with Tim van der Elst in second, and oh dear me. Now you see, that's very interesting. That was a late change of direction, but a clever one, because they had to avoid that pile-up on the infield, and that has cost Schmidt, for the moment at least, that third place. But he goes diving down the inside, not as clean as we might have liked, but I think the stewards won't look too badly on that. I think that was a racing incident.
That was a block pass. I mean, that was actually a hard but fair. He knew what he was doing. I think if you analyse it, the car's hardly touched, but he was obviously, he lost the place because he was held up by some of his accident that completely blocked the cut through. Not putting him off. He's gone for it again. But he's now, I think, going to establish his third place once more. Very,
very aggressive on the throttle. We were just seeing earlier on, watching the leaders, how progressive they're seeing to people. Look at Schmidt's style. He flicks the car in, and he's very early on the throttle and getting the car to drift all the way through the corners. You can see it's cutting up a little bit through the final corner to the timing beam. And again, look, gets it in there very early on the throttle. Now let's pick up our leader again, Ken Valkes, as he's coming towards the end. In fact, checkered flag is waiting for him as he comes through to complete. Well, that's nothing less than a masterclass by Ken Valkes. He's across the line, the victory lap. I was going to say he's won that at a canter, but not much more than a trot, appropriate enough for the surroundings we're in. And he comes back towards Parc Fermé with a good victory under his belt. Let's check the results then. Ken Valkes wins it in style from Tim van der Elst in second, with Alex Schmidt coming up into third ahead of Christian Lagasse, who looked like he might do better earlier in the race. And it's Vadnes, Mullik, Bravoluke, Mulder, Van der Heide and Visser.
It's amazing. Last year we also had a 1-2.
Now, the first half of the race didn't really go your way, did it? You were having problems getting past him, but once you got past, you just pulled away.
Yes, I waited a bit because Alexander was right behind us. So I took it easy, left some space, and then Tim made a little mistake, and I could run away.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm still happy. From the moment I made a little mistake on the corner at the end of the straight. Yeah, I tried a little to catch Ken again, but he was really quick. I couldn't catch up, so after that I decided to just relax and keep the pace, watching where Alexander and Christian were. So I just made a safe second place. First place would be better, but okay, Ken is my best friend. Since we began, we were driving together, so we're called the Elcon twins. You can see that on the body shell.
Well, congratulations to Ken. That's all till next month, but don't forget, if you want your fix of RC racing action, check out rcracing.tv.